the theme of this presentation really about we're not alone. I think we're all trying to solve a very complex concern around housing. And the brainstorm for this project or this presentation actually started about a month ago. I was in Colorado attending a National Association of Counties meeting where a lot of the counties get together and talk about issues and concerns along with funding and relationships, not only throughout other counties across the nation, but with our federal government. And the general theme that came through loud and clear was everybody across the country is trying to solve housing issues and how complex a lot of that is at this time. And what I really wanted to do right up front here is, and Hiapo's going to help us with that, is kind of pose the question to this group, some thoughts around what they think or how long some of these housing projects take. And so there's going to be two questions, two parts to this. Assuming no delays or postponements, how many public hearings does it take to secure entitlements for a housing project? Now, again, entitlements means you've got your zoning, your water, everything's in place, and this is prior to even going vertical. And the second part to that question is how many months does that take? So how many hearings and how many months? What I wanted to do is walk you through some other information that we've learned while doing this work. So back prior to 1975, and probably only Darryl was alive at that time, everybody else wasn't born yet, we had a process that allowed for new housing stock. And right at 1975, the Land Use Commission introduced a contested case process, which really kind of lent itself to a lot of what we see now around not in my backyard, growing concerns about traffic, infrastructure capacity issues, water issues, and the like. And this graph really does kind of draw that demarcation as to how housing was being developed prior to this introduction and how it really has fallen off over the last 30 plus years. And what both Carlo and I talked a lot about while we were in Colorado was this: how much time does it take, and what are the areas that we can push on that would either create opportunities to expedite or create smoother pathways forward. And some of the issues that we saw and talked about, and again, not only with Carlos, but everyone across the nation, was definitely political climates. And, you know, as a policymaker, we tend to focus on whatever our constituency is asking for at that time. But it became very clear, again, not being alone, everyone across the country is struggling with housing. And so there is a political will and courage right now to develop housing. We see that in the Build Back Better infrastructure bill. A lot of monies is coming. We see that coming from the state. We saw Department of Hawaiian Homelands get $600 million along with a whole other bunch of tranche of money that is coming. So how do we go ahead and get ready for that? Some of the other challenges that we see are fixed dates as to hearings and agendas. A lot of times our council only meets twice a month. Other commissions and boards only meet once a month. And so how do we kind of create an idea for housing for community and then map that out over the course of time? In addition to those fixed and hard corners and hard dates, our special design areas. We have things within our conservation district use areas, within our SMAs, other areas like in Kona that has special design guidelines like the Kailua Village area. And all of that has a public hearing process. And as we package up all these ideas for housing contributors is the various reporting and technical studies that go with it, whether it's a environmental impact statement, a cultural assessment, a traffic study, a flora fauna study. All of this takes time and puts a lot of pressure on our housing contributors. And while we were back in Colorado, Carlo and I said, hey, we got to figure out a way for us to bet on ourselves. What do we need to do to highlight these pathways and focus in and bet on ourselves so that we can develop some local housing? And this is where I want to hand it off to my friend Carlo. And one tool that is available to us is the 201H program. And this is where Carlo will be able to jump in and talk about how we can go vertical quickly through this process. And then rounding out this conversation will be Edgar, who's kind of makes the dollars and cents, all the lending that has to go into this. And then after we all round out, what we want to do is circle back around on the survey that we pushed out and how maybe we can create a vernacular on words that matter that lend itself to another lighthouse piece that someone from this group can help us write. Carlo, please.
Sure. Thank you, Sue.